It's a side of beef.
I'm getting a quarter of that next week.
Yum.
Oh dear.
That looks good, dude. You're amazing, Bernard.
Thank you.
Okay, I said go live, and I got to find myself yet. Oh, there we
Are you live?
I am live. I tried to say that to you guys like 3 times already. The plumber just won't shut up.
Oh, hold on. It just went on my phone.
John's not even here.
I can do lots of stuff without John. It's okay. Oh boy, what do we got in here? Good day, model railroaders. How are you? Been a bit since I've done a live stream. We've got a couple guests. We got Bernard, we got John from TSGMultimedia, and we got the Plumber 33. And yes, I have no idea who that guy is either. We will find out later during the stream. So we got Dwight Curley saying hello. And everybody, it is Dwight Curley's dog's birthday. So everybody say happy birthday to Dwight's dog.
Happy birthday, Dwight's dog.
There you go.
Oh, yeah, for happy birthday.
Dundas Junction Model Railroad. James, how are you doing? And who else do we got? We got the plumber. He's in the chat and he's on the screen. What do you know? And keep on scrolling. We got Wiggy Waggy. How are you doing, buddy? Nice to see you. And John number 2, School Kill River Valley. Popping in. Maybe he can do a few links for us as we're talking, because I don't know if we'll ever get the links. Martin Seesma, how are you? Sean McGee, who is going to be following me down to Colorado in his car. So he says anyway. He better book this hotel room by now. So who else do we got strolling through? Of course, if I actually catch up to the live chat, we got K&R Custom Models. Sparkman is back. Just for this week. We'll see how it goes. I do miss the live streams, guys. I really, really do. I got to find the time to get back and doing them. So New Haven N Scale, how are you? And John, nice to see you popping in. Caboose 121, Kyle Stevens. We got Brad Strains in the chat. And I think I am all caught up. If not, and I missed you, hey, what the heck? Say something. Like I said, we got Bernard in here. We got John from TSG Multimedia, and we got the Plumber 33. Now, the Plumber 33 was in Timodium, where I just happened to be. I think that was last weekend. Bernard was down in Timonium doing some live scanning for his 3D printing. We're going to check in on how that ended up or turned out, or you never know. Yeah, we might all need those. Who knows? And I want to start off by just saying how excited I am because I've just been so busy. Going down to Bernie's train show and taking part with setting that up and hanging out with those guys again down around the Steamtown area. JP Videos, RJ's Productions. Like I said, 2 days of that train show, hanging out with them before, after, and during. Doing the live stream with JP Videos was great to be a co-host with him. I missed it. Doing that live stream with JP Videos again kind of got me itching to get back into it even more. So that was the start of how busy I've been. So then I take off and I go to with Bernard down to Timonium the following weekend. 8-hour drive. And, it wasn't a bad drive, but it was exactly that, 8 hours to get there. Great countryside, mountains, trees, leaves are all turning. I couldn't ask for a better drive. The weather was perfect when we were down there, I think. It wasn't hot, wasn't cold. But again, this is what's taking up so much of my time. So this week doing this live stream, like I said, you can hear it in my voice how excited I am. And getting back out to these train show guys, I'm just going to say it, after this COVID crap that we've been dealing with for so long, the showstopper, getting out to these meet and greets, getting out to the train shows, hanging with friends, and doing stuff. And John's just laughing away because I said it. I said crap. He's sitting up there going, word. That's all he wants to say is word.
Word.
But I'm enjoying it so much. Had such a great time with Bernard and the plumber. YouTube meet and greet was at Timodium. Just awesome. Fantastic time hanging out with everybody. And I just want to say it now. My next trip out to hang out with you guys, hang out with Bernard, will be at Amherst, Springfield, the end of January. I'm planning on being there. I got my room booked already. Can't wait to go. So that's my next trip. And then the trip after that, obviously, is going to be in May from the 19th through the 21st. So I think I might book my hotel in Colorado Doubletree I booked in Greeley from May 18th to the 22nd. So hopefully all you guys are going to come to the next YouTube meet and greet. May, it's 21st or 19th to 21st. And we'll kind of pick John's brain about that a little bit later on. But I want to start right away with Bernard. Why do you go to Timonium? You do the was that like your first train show as an exhibitor type thing, showing off your stuff?
It was, but I'm just Googling the Doubletree in Greeley, Colorado right now, and trying to figure out how long a drive it is. So let me just double check this. Hang on. So according to this, from my house to Greeley is, I'm curious. Hang on. Oh, wow. That's not no, that's easy. It's only 24-hour drive.
Yeah, I know. It's only 23 for me.
Well, that's kind of interesting because I'll go through Chicago. I've never been through Iowa before. Oh, wow. I wonder if I'm going to be near Ames, Iowa, because that would be pretty cool. Could stop and see my friend Scott Thornton. Omaha. Oh, that's cool. I'll go through Nebraska. Wow. All right. Road trip.
And I'll have to go back through the chat later to see if Sean McGee actually said he booked his room or not. So
Is that what you booked?
Popping in? Well, my room's already booked for down there. So
you booked at the Doubletree in Greeley?
That's correct.
And where is the actual show?
Well, it's pretty close to that. John will have to come in and say that, but it's all in that area.
Driving to Cheyenne from Greeley takes almost an hour.
Okay. All right. So
we got the Colorado Model Railroad Museum we're going to be spending quite a bit of time at. There's some, I'm not allowed to really say it, but Union Pacific's in the area, so at Cheyenne. There's a few other things. We'll get to that list later on.
All right, we'll get to that later. So you asked me a question. Yes, it was my first major train show as an exhibitor.
And how'd you find that?
It was exciting. It was huge. I mean, it was like nothing like a train show that I'm used to. So I've been to train shows up here in Canada, and maybe you get a hockey rink or a gymnasium or something that is kind of you can find some good deals, but it's nothing along the scale of what we saw in Timonium, which is amazing because I've heard a lot of people say that Timonium this year was not the same size as Timonium has been in previous years.
Yeah, they said it was almost half the size this time. So,
which is amazing to me because it seemed massive. I mean, it seemed huge. So I was impressed, and the best part for me, honestly, was just meeting so many people that I knew, from miniprints or that I'd met online or whose YouTube videos I'd watched, but to actually meet them in person, it was mind-blowing. I mean, people were coming up to me and it was so, I don't know what word to use, but it was so heartwarming. People were saying, I came to the show because I heard you were going to be here and I wanted to, meet you, or, I mean, it was just really nice to connect with people and to, put a face to the name and a name to the face.
And I got to say, that's one of the greatest things that I have found through the years. I've done 5 YouTube meet and greets now. And Timonium wasn't a meet and greet for me per se, but it's kind of the same thing. But when everybody gets together, and it's not just for me, it's for other people that show up at these things too. It's like, and we heard it at Timonium. It's like, oh, wow, it is just so great to meet you in person. Like the Rick the Tree was there, or Heath, or right, yeah. or the plumber being there. And plumber was usually the one saying, oh, it's so great to see you in person, and I watch your videos.
You look exactly like you look on YouTube.
Yeah, just like that. Or, wow, you're so much taller.
And I had a couple of mini prints. I have some mini print of the month club subscribers. These are people that are sort of, they're the inner group that gets sort of new and unique stuff every month. And a bunch of the mini prints of month club subscribers came out. So I met 3 of them at Timonium. It just was fantastic. Connected with some old friends, some people who I had met before, some of the AML crowd like Tom Jacobs and Kaylee Zhang and some other sort of manufacturers like Ron Kleiss. who I knew from, just being online. And it was just, I mean, the social element, that was the key for me. That was the best part of the entire show, was just getting together with people.
Amen.
So, yeah, I kind of said how my drive was going down there, but how was yours? You took an extra day to get down there, didn't you?
Well, it was really great and really shitty at the same time.
There goes my PG rating.
Yeah, I was going to say, are you allowed to say that on YouTube Live? Not for kids. I decided that because as you said, it was an 8-hour drive. I did not want to do all 8 hours all in one shot, because I had to set up, and I knew that I couldn't do 8 hours straight and then another, 4 or 5 hours setting up. I'd be a mess. So because I had to set up on the Friday, I thought it made sense to probably start on the Thursday, stop somewhere Thursday night, get there in good time on Friday afternoon, so that I'd have time to set up. I knew that it was a little too ambitious to do the drive and the setup all in one day. So I'd heard a lot about this place called the Station Inn. Have you guys been there or heard of it?
I haven't.
Okay, well, the Station Inn is in Crescent, Pennsylvania, and it is a little inn that is right beside the NS main line. So double track main line, lots and lots of high speed freight trains going by 24/7, and they've got a wonderful front porch where you can watch the trains go by.
I just got to say, we got Rick the Tree in here. He might want to stick around and watch this live stream for a bit. So
yeah, he might be interested in what's coming up. But I thought, you know what, I should check out this Station Inn, because, part of doing a trip, I mean, a trip to me is it's 1/3 social, it's 1/3 business, and it's 1/3 rail fan. And if I can't get the social in, I'm not happy. And if I can't get the business in, then I can't pay for it. But at the same time, it's all about trains. And I'm not a happy person if I don't see a train. And if I go to a train show and I spend all day inside and there are no trains, then what's the point? I mean, seriously. So I thought this whole Station Inn is a great chance for me to not only break up the drive, but see a few trains. Well, what I didn't realize, and here's a top tip for everyone in the audience, don't park your car overnight by a main line. Because while the Station Inn was a lot of fun and the trains were certainly going all night, and trains are strangely relaxing. I didn't realize how good a sleep I got. Actually, it was one of the best sleeps I've ever had, to the sound of trains going by, literally right out front my window. But I came out the next morning to basically find that a piece of ballast or a piece of coal had come off the main line and smashed my moonroof. And I'm still waiting for the insurance company to figure out with the dealership and what that's going to cost. But the initial estimate is somewhere around $3,500 Canadian. And what I don't quite understand is that they have to order it down from Kentucky. So there's 7 to 10 days to get this piece of glass. Like, literally, it is a very large piece of glass. Mm-hmm. So they have to find it, and apparently they're very rare in North America. They have to get it, which takes 7 to 10 days. They have to install it, which apparently is 11.5 dealer hours and takes 3 days.
Wow.
I'm like, I can do this. I can do this in an hour. Like, you guys don't need 3 days to do this, honestly. Anyway, it's turned into a whole very, very expensive rigmarole. And what I've learned is, don't park near a main line. And when it comes down to Highlander hybrid versus Norfolk Southern locomotive, the locomotive's going to win.
Yeah, for sure. But you did do a great job with the duct tape on your.
Well, I was going to say, I am a walking advertisement for Gorilla brand Gorilla tape.
Oh, that you are.
I'm hoping they will sponsor my YouTube channel. It's surprisingly waterproof because it's pouring rain right now in Toronto, And I've got about 8 layers of Gorilla Tape on top of that car.
Nice.
So
Oh, it was nice. He did a great job.
It's my rag top. I texted my wife and I said, "What do you think of the new rag top SUV?"
Redneck carbon fiber.
Yeah, exactly. If your car is covered in duct tape, you might be a redneck.
Oh, here we go. And there's my copyright strike.
We're going to violate everything.
Word to oneself, Bernard's not allowed back on the channel.
Yeah, I rarely am invited back twice.
Yeah. So we're just going to give it to you for Bernard. I'm going to make you like big screen here for a bit. Everybody else can take a bit of a break. But what exactly did you do at Timonium?
Well, I can show you if I can share my screen.
You can. Well, you can.
Shall I?
Sure.
All right. I mean, there are all sorts of videos and there are all sorts of let me see. Let me try and share a window. Here we go. Here we go. You might recognize a few of these people. Can you see any of these people right here? Am I sharing?
You are.
You got it.
All right. All right. Let's start on the end here. Does that person look familiar?
Well, let's see if the people in the chat can get it.
All right. So I'll highlight people. Let's guess. Person number 1.
Show the side view. Everybody will know.
Oh my God! Shut up.
All right. Hang on. So there's person number 1. There's the side view. Here's number 2. And that may or may not be a bag of Doritos.
Yeah, may or may not be.
May or may not be. Scan number 3 here may or may
They're
not
still trying to guess.
may or may not be someone who's currently on the live stream.
Word.
Oh,
Word. Wrong use.
All right.
all right. So somebody's guessed all of them already.
Person number 4 may or may not be someone who went live last night.
CP368 is all over it.
Yeah.
All right. And the final
Tim's got them all already.
The final one here may or may not be someone who is currently watching tonight.
All right. All right, guys in the chat. What do you think? Did the scans turn out all right? They must have, because you guys are like bang off right away.
And I'm here. I'm gonna stop sharing. So hang on. Stop sharing. I'll come back. And they are equally spectacular when they're printed out. They are absolutely. I'm kind of screwing it up because I've got the blur on.
You're full screen now too.
They are absolutely fantastic. Here, let me try and move the light out of the way. But I'm very pleased. I mean, the whole point of the Timonium show was to get the live scanner up and running. And let's get you, Sparky. Hang on. I know it's like super crappy to see whatever. Anyway, you get the idea. The scans turned out beautifully. The technology, I mean, Timonium was really a test for Amherst, and it was an opportunity to take the technology that I have and run it through its paces and learn their strengths and the weaknesses. And I have to be honest, it was a blast, and I'm thrilled with the scans. We did 31 scans and could not have done it without you. You were absolutely so helpful. Thank you. I mean, it was wonderful to be there. I mean, with you, Sparky. And
I did enjoy myself quite a bit.
It was kind of fun, wasn't it?
It was a great time.
It really was a lot of fun.
Like, I can't wait for Amherst, and I've kind of made myself your official sidekick now. You don't get a choice. So.
And it's interesting because I had a call with John Sacradotti. I don't know if you know John. John is the show director at Amherst, and he's all over this. He's putting me in a signature location, and we're putting in the red carpet, and John is very, very excited about this at Amherst. And I think somebody wants to see a scan again.
I think so.
Yeah. There we go. Mud
Just
not,
kind of go
mud,
through the process, what
mud
you were
not
doing.
included. The process. Okay.
'Cause you're still going to be full screen for the next 3 minutes.
Oh dear God. All right. No one needs that.
Yeah, I'm trying to eat over here.
The process is relatively painless. The rash should go away in 3 to 5 business days.
Yep, never coming back.
Yeah, the scan's easy. I mean, basically, I had a turntable in the middle of a space, and it's interesting. I was talking to John at Amherst, and what we really need is a very nice, clear, empty space. I mean, one thing that we learned, Sparky, is that people like to sort of cut across the space. So I'm looking for some nice little red velvet, sort of the types of things that you see in cinemas. What do you call those? Stanchions, ropes, whatever. So we need a nice little space. I put a sort of a turntable in the middle, spin someone around. I've got my scanner rig. I capture their soul, and then I go back to my studio and reproduce them in N, H, O, S, or O scale. And I've really had all 4. And I mean, some of the I'm trying to see. Do I have an O scale here? Some of the O scale ones are absolutely spectacular. I mean, all the scales turned out beautifully, but there was one woman actually who came in and she wanted dollhouse scale. So she wanted I think she wanted G scale, which is what, 1 to 24.
Yeah, she was.
And I mean, the scan of her is huge. I mean, it's probably about 2.5, 3 inches, and I'm just thrilled beyond belief with the detail. The technology worked beautifully. Each individual looks like the individual. And the response has been, really great. I mean, people really seem to be into it. I had a lot of, really great feedback. And one person, you get basically, 5 of them with.
I'll bring you down now.
Thank you. You get 5 of them included. And I had another person come and say everyone's getting one for Christmas, and he ordered another 15.
Wow.
So he's going to get 20 copies in various scales for him to give out to all his railroading friends.
That's
so
awesome.
Bernard, when I come up to you at the counter, the booth or whatever, when you were doing the scans and things, do I have to tell you what gauge or scale that I want at the time?
Well, that's one of the things I learned is I think I'm going to streamline the process because I need a better way of keeping track of things. So I think I'm going to write some sort of computer program or interface where people can just enter all their information on a computer, in some sort of database. They can sort of specifically say, how many of what scale they want. Because to be quite honest, it's a bit of a pain in the to keep track of it after the fact. And people did tell me what scale they were at the show. But after the fact, when they saw how well they turned out, what I find is a number of people are sort of saying, well, I'd like to get, I might be HL, but I'd like to get a couple of them in O scale.
Right on. So you put people on a turntable. You start the little scanning device.
I spin them round.
Yeah. How long do they got to stand there for?
2 to 3 hours.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe hold on for a second. I'm gonna plumber. You did this. I did a live stream of you doing the scan.
Correct.
Take me through. Why did you want a scan of yourself first off?
Well, I wanted to return to skateboarding, and since my back won't let me, Bernard found a great solution. Make me HO scale, and I could put myself on a little half pipe on my layout.
Very cool. So how did you find the process? And start right from the you walked up to the booth, go right from there.
Walked up to the booth. I think Bernard was still setting up. I don't remember everything when I first walked up, but once I got onto that turntable, it was shows on. I got to hold this pose for, I think it was only like 3 minutes. It wasn't that long at all, Bernard.
And
I couldn't do a second one.
In all fairness, the plumber was the most intricate, detailed, kind of crazy pose of the day. And most people, I mean, I can show you the average pose was kind of, someone standing there with their arms, folded or in their pockets or on their sides or something like that. I mean, not everybody sort of decided to do a half pike, 3/4 pose. And I'm surprised, actually. I mean, honestly, I'm surprised it turned out. I mean, I had to give you new arms. Digitally, those arms are not your own, but they seem to exactly. Yeah, it's kind of a little bit of sort of gummy bear where you take the red head and put it on the green body and stuff like that. But it worked out really well. And I added a lot of ball caps to people, and I did a lot of sort of digital manipulation after the fact. But I'm really pleased. Yeah, really pleased. And yeah.
Okay, so I just want to interrupt right now from all you guys. There's a lot of people in the chat that say, I want a plumber.
Yeah.
Or they want a Heath, or they want a Rick or something. So
yeah.
Is there going to be a process for that, Bernard? Or are you still working on it? Or?
So I've sent an email out to everybody who has responded, and I'd say about a third to 2/3 of the people have responded. There's still, strangely, about a third of the people that I have not heard back from. So hopefully they will surface. So that's the other thing. Not everybody who actually scanned has purchased yet. So if you're in the group and you have received an email from me, check your junk box or check your email. But everybody who has responded, I've sent an email out to them, and I've asked them whether or not they're okay if I share their image, because John at Amherst has asked for some pictures of what it looks like because he'd like to promote it. And I've also asked if it's okay if I list them online. And so far, everybody has said that it's okay. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to put all of these online, and they'll be listed at miniprints.com under the category people. There might be a subcategory of YouTubers, or I don't know whether I'll go to subcategory because I want people to find them. But miniprints.com people, and everyone who has agreed will be listed there. And that's probably realistically, I want to get all these out to the people first. So maybe end of next week, within a week or so, I'll get those up, and then people can order them.
Cool.
Nice.
So, Bernard, you're not really the star of the show right now. The plumber is. So
yes,
you got to kind of get back to him.
Okay.
So he did it. He did a scan. He rotated around for 3 minutes. He says we should have kept him there longer, I think. Next time. Did you only do one pose, bud?
I think I attempted 3. There was a second one holding the skateboard to my left or right. I can't recall. And then I tried to do the handstand pose, of course, upside down. But, once I get printed, I'll glue myself hand down. But yeah, I attempted that one.
That'll work. So after your scan was done, what did you see?
Oh, I saw some coolness. Hold on. You want to see exactly what I saw?
Well, we kind of saw what you saw, but you took. Yeah, go ahead, show it.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I think I took actual pictures.
Your big screen, buddy.
Woohoo! Big screen, big time. So that was the very first thing I saw, and I know my light and camera's not all that great.
Right there, we can see it fine. Closer to the camera.
Oh, that's the train show. Hello. It was a good time, but these are the initial. Look at that color image right there. I'm hot, glowing hot. Yeah, so that was the first thing I saw. Mohawk and all.
Yeah. It did seem to give everybody a mohawk, which was kind of cool. And then when Bernard actually goes in on the scan itself, everybody's head was hollow. So
that's what my wife says all the time.
What did you think when you actually saw that image?
I thought this is going to be amazing. I can't wait. And I've been giddy ever since. Are you kidding me?
But did you think it would actually turn out that well?
Yes and no. Bernard, expressed some concerns about certain things, but ultimately the man, the myth, the legend has pulled through.
Oh, here we go. That'll go right to his head. So your scale is HO.
HO.
Are you one of these people that said I want that in G scale now too?
No. I do have G scale, but no, I'm not going to put a half pipe on my GG.
So would you do it again?
Absolutely. I have like 10 other props I'm looking at right now I need to, get on.
All right. So speaking of props, Bernard,
Yes.
you had it on your website that you were going to be at Timodium and doing that. And some people showed up with props.
Yes.
Were you amazed by that? Did you know it was going to happen?
I had no clue. There were two gentlemen that showed up in full costume. And, it's awesome. I mean, I think that makes it more fun. And it's really interesting because when you look at each individual scan and you put them all together, everybody looks different. And, there's one gentleman holding a pocket watch, wearing a top hat. And then there was another gentleman who wore like a Civil War hat. And it's just really fascinating to see, all the different scans. It's kind of like a little sort of miniature model railroad army of, figures. And like I say, I was kind of learning along with everyone else. And I'm just really happy it worked. I mean, my biggest fear was that I was going to do a scan and disappoint someone. I didn't want to sort of, take their time and sort of create a false hope and, get them excited about something and then come back to them and have to say, it didn't really turn out. But they turned out, and everyone looks like what they're supposed to look like.
So a couple of people are just popping in now. And of course, we're still getting the questions of, are you going to sell Sparky? And yes, the answer for me, and I can only speak for myself, is yes, Sparky will be for sale on miniprints.com. Yep. So if anybody wants a Sparky, you can go over there in a couple of weeks and buy them up.
And I will offer chicken bones and voodoo spells for an extra $20.
There you go.
Sweet.
Oh, geez. So speaking of the costumes and stuff like that, if you go to Amherst, which you are planning on doing next,
absolutely,
are you going to bring props with you for people?
No. I think that, props honestly are a bit of a pain in the ass because hats and things like that don't scan well. So I've got to digitally recreate them. The best scans are the cleanest, simplest. Everything else is sort of extra, more work to do. If people want to bring props, yes, some will work, some won't. Most props need to be digitally added in after the fact. And they involve a lot of extra sort of digital work. So, for example, the one I showed you of Heath holding the camera, I basically had to sort of redraw and recreate the camera. Now, the scan gives you the rough shapes, but for it to actually reproduce and look good, you basically recreate it. So
I'm just showing everybody already. So
yeah. So props are not exactly encouraged, but they're not discouraged either. It really depends on the prop. This works best, with sort of a bunch of sort of simple poses. If you get too elaborate, and I think the most elaborate that I will ever attempt is the plumber. You will definitely go down in history as the most elaborate, both in terms of pose and props. So nice. I'm not necessarily sort of suggesting that you bring your golf clubs.
Well, they're shiny anyway, right?
Yeah. And thin. And the scanner doesn't really like things that are sort of thin or shiny or, out there. Those are the types of things that you sort of digitally recreate after the fact.
There's just one that's popping up in the chat for you, Bernard.
Yeah, no, I stay away from vehicles for a couple reasons. One, they're really, really big. Two, they're really, really copyrighted and litigious. And three, there are a lot of people doing them out there. So my guess is you can probably find any vehicle that you could possibly need to out there already. And I don't particularly feel like getting sued by a large automaker. So I'm going to stick to oddities, animals, people, things like that, railroad specific items. The other problem with cars is that everybody wants their car. And that's a rabbit hole because, it's like, I want a 1989 Mazda 323.
Yeah. And you can always get in touch with Sullivan's too, which is at Otter Valley Railroad, and he does a lot of the vehicles and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think there's some people doing really good vehicles out there. And my thing is always, to try and do things that haven't been done before or that haven't been done well before. So it's just not my specialty. There are other people that are dealing with that.
So you kind of answered this one question already, but would you hire or fire your helper that you had that weekend?
Interesting question. Hire or fire?
He brought you the lube. I'm just putting that out there.
Oh, come on. Here we go.
I would have to say.
Okay. So the next question we had in the chat.
I would, yes.
No, we'll leave that one alone. Next,
I have a comment. Can I make a comment? Dave, I would hire you just so I could fire you.
Yeah, I like you a lot better when you're quiet. So the last and final question I had for you, Bernard, and it's been up in the chat a couple times also, is the next train show or any, do you have a list of train shows that you're going to be going to as an exhibitor in the future? Do you have plans that way, or like was Timonium Amherst going to be one and done type thing? Or
it's all kind of too new to tell. I mean, at this point, Amherst is the next one. It's fun, and I mean the whole idea behind this is it's 1/3 social. So it's and I think one of the things that's really interesting that I did want to sort of mention is that it really became sort of a focus of the show because it became a really social thing. So I think the smartest thing I did, and I did at the last minute, is I brought a monitor with me so everyone could watch the scan being done. And that became really social and really fun. So not only could you watch yourself being scanned, but we had a whole little crowd of people that were watching the scanning. And it really is a bit of an experience because it's new and it's novel and it's kind of fun. So I think my sort of motivation for doing it is partially social and fun. It's a lot of work. I'm still trying to figure out, whether it makes business sense. I mean, so far it's break even. I'd like to do more shows for sure, but I haven't quite figured out the business model on this yet. So I'm still sort of learning along the ways.
We need to get you one of those booths from NASCAR and a conveyor belt, and then you just line people up, brother.
Well, I'm not sure I want to, because the problem is that every scan I do at a show is a good hour or 2 hours back at the studio. So I've got to sort of weigh it. It's like I don't want to be away from my printers for too long, because when I'm away from the printers, that's the core business, is I got to be sort of feeding the beast, and I got to be, I definitely need to be, not too far away from home base, but it's a great social way to sort of, if I can break even and pay for a trip to a train show and do a little rail fanning and hopefully not destroy a moonroof, that's a great scenario. So I'm open to it. I mean, the dream would be that, shows sort of, pay my expenses to come down, as a draw. That might be wishful thinking. Certainly if there's a show within an hour or 2 hour drive of where I am now, that's a no-brainer. Be honest, I'm really intrigued by the show in Colorado because I've never been to Colorado. So, I mean, I'm crazy enough to try and make anything work. So if there is a show where people would like this, they should reach out to me or reach out to, the show organizer. I mean, I can definitely see this as, a fun thing to add to shows. I just can't sort of be on the road 365 doing this, or the,
That's
the core
understandable.
business. Yeah, the core business will sort of suffer.
So that's going to bring me into John. And the next YouTube meet and greet is in Colorado for May 19th to 21st. So that is kind of what Bernard was getting to, is there is a train show there at the same time. And that'd be great if Bernard could do the train show and then hang out with us like in the evening and the off day of the train show. But John, you can't just roast me. Bernard's sitting there waiting.
I know, but you deserve it though. He doesn't deserve it. I like Bernard.
Oh, here we go. But you must have some questions for him.
What, for Bernard?
Yeah.
I think it would be cool if you can come because, we've been wanting a scan of me for a while. And as far as I'm concerned, you could sell it. You could pimp me as much as you want.
No, I think it's a great idea. I mean, if there's any possible way of making something like this work, I will make it work. So it literally comes down to logistics, mechanics. And the nice thing is it's May, right? So we've got all the time in the world to plan it. I mean, yes, it'll be here in a blink of an eye. But we definitely have time to figure it out. And no, I'm not going to be a Kitchener just because that's too soon. And I'm still recovering and catching up from the last show. But
I just saw Sean McGee was the one that asked the question. And
yeah,
like I said, Colorado, he's going to follow me over to Colorado. So all your mini prints and stuff can go in the back of his truck to get there. So we're good.
Yeah. And I think, if there's a good time horizon and we can plan it, and I can sort of figure out the drive or the airfare. I mean, the good news is, the car is pretty fuel efficient. So, the gas isn't really a concern.
I'm sorry.
So,
of course, that one comes from Rick.
It depends how private they are and what you mean private.
Haven't you already done one of those?
I think he just means you and him. I'm sure he just means you and him, Bernard.
Oh, he's already been scanned. I think he's thinking of something else.
It's the party he wants.
But no, I mean, it's fun. You can really see the technology. It's an experience, and it's kind of what everyone's looking for, right? It's fun, Absolutely. It's experience. And I mean, I've scanned a number of people. My wife is sort of my muse, and she's appeared in a number of poses. You can go on to miniprints.com and get my wife, Holly the Equestrian, Holly the Wicked Witch, so I think there's definitely the opportunity to come out with, really interesting scans of not only personalities, but just also, professions. So someone today asked me, if I would do a series of a specific industry. So yeah. But yes to Colorado is my short answer. I just have to figure out how to make it happen.
Well, I think you were on to something really interesting, Bernard, by having your presence there be a draw for the show. I think that's a really good angle, and you might be able to get someone to put you up, at least pay for the lodging while you're at a show just by being there.
Because well, I know of at least 3 people that said to me, if you believe them at their word, that they specifically came to the show to get scanned.
Yeah.
Sparky will back me up. There were 3 people that said, I wasn't going to come to the show, but when I heard that there was body scanning, I wanted to come and do that. And I think the most heartwarming was that there were 2 instances of fathers bringing their children. One father brought his son, and one father brought his daughter.
And she was so adorable too.
She was absolutely adorable. And she's like, Daddy, I want to be on your layout. And then the son, which was awesome, is like, Dad, I want to be on your layout, but then I want you to be on the layout with me. So we scanned the father and the son. So those are like, there was a little grain of sand in my eye for those. I mean, it really was, it felt good, didn't it, Sparky?
And then we also had Jake and Becky. They stopped by too, and they were from the Pennsylvania area. And we had to scan them separately, but we had them, we took the time to set them up so their hands would be in the exact spot so they could glue each other together, holding each other's hands on the layout. So
yeah. And that turned out well.
Yeah, I want those 2 too. So John, that brings us to the Colorado, the YouTube meet and greet. Biggest question I got for you, I guess, right now is, have you ever been to a YouTube meet and greet or any kind of meet and greet social event?
When I was a kid, we used to talk to strangers on the CB radio, and we would do meets from people on CB radio. That was a lot of fun, getting to put a face to the voice that you were talking to on the radio all the time. That was pretty cool. So I guess I've been to some, but nothing like a YouTube one, like what we're going to do.
Right. So what are your thoughts of that then? All these people that watch TSG Multimedia and they could all be in one spot. You could be flooded by people.
Well, actually, I don't relish that idea because I actually am kind of an introvert, believe it or not. I know that I can talk. That's because I did that as a living for years. But I think it'll be fun though, because, well, like right now, I'm watching all the talking go by on the side of the screen here, and we don't know. Well, you probably do, but I don't know who most of these people are. In some cases, I've seen them on shows. Like I just met the plumber here for the first time. I feel like I know you, Bernard, because we've talked plenty and you've been on my channel before. But to meet someone in person that you've been talking to or have known about for a while is pretty cool.
It's actually quite intimidating. The first, like I've done 5 YouTube meet and greets so far. Colorado will be the 6th. Timonium it wasn't one of mine, but going to it. But if it's your first one or first couple, it is kind of overwhelming, you can kind of say, because when you first go in there, it's like, oh, I'm here to meet so many people or whatever. But the other thought is, what are they going to think of me type thing? Or what's it going to be like or anything like that? And it's just the experience I've seen in all the YouTube meet and greets that I've been to so far is everybody is so open, welcoming, and chatty, and nobody will ever leave anybody out. Like you could never get to a back corner to sit down and say, leave me alone, because everybody's going to be right there saying, hey man, I know you from YouTube. So, well,
I do want to say one thing, and I think Dave, you can probably, testify to this, which is, and this happens almost anytime I'm out somewhere where it's a train thing and people come up to me and they just start talking to me, which is fine. But I do have one request for someone that wants to come up and talk to you. And that is introduce yourself, right? Because you know who I am because you see me on YouTube all the time. I have no idea, literally no idea who this person is coming up and talking to me. And it's okay to introduce yourself first. I mean, that's helps me because it might even be a name I recognize. Like, oh yeah, I remember your name from the chat or from a comment that you made. And you might even be surprised that people remember more about you than you realize.
And that does happen a lot. I have noticed as people come up and they're like, oh, hey, how's it going? This is so great. And you're looking at them like,
who the heck are you?
And why are you talking to me? Yeah, it's a YouTube meet and greet type thing. But you got to remember, a lot of people don't show their faces on YouTube. We're watching trains.
Yeah.
And I don't know who you are by your voice. So, yeah, I agree with what John's saying. When you come up to somebody at a YouTube meet and greet or any meet and greet personally, introduce yourself. A is your channel name, because I'm going to say 75% of the time it's not the same. And then throw your real name out there too. It doesn't hurt. So,
yeah, it wouldn't hurt to just come up and say, hi, I'm John, and I have the channel TSG Multimedia. I really like your work, and I've been subscribed to your channel for years now, Sparky. I thank you for what you do. It's better than, oh, hey, I like chasing trains. Oh, who the hell are you? I appreciate it when someone comes up, and I appreciate that people watch, but it's really awkward. And sometimes I'll just say that to people. It's like, oh, that's nice. And I appreciate that. Who are you?
Hilarious, John.
That's in my head. It's like, well, who are you? And I got to tell you a funny story. I was at an event earlier this year, and, we were eating lunch with the train crew, and someone on the train crew came up and said, oh, hey, I'm a patron of yours, and started talking to me. And I'm like, okay, thanks. I really appreciate that. And I think I said that to him. It's like, but I have no idea who you are. And then he introduced himself like, oh yeah, I know exactly who you are because I remember your name from Patreon. So yeah, then we had a great conversation after that. And he even ended up on the show that I was making. So.
And I've seen it a couple times on your videos and stuff too, where you say, oh, this person came over and introduced themselves or said that they watch you and stuff like that. But you can tell in your voice when you're actually explaining it and talking about it, the person didn't say it right off the bat. And it's like, hey, I know you, man. You're so cool.
Right? You're getting fangirled, and you don't know who she is.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of fun, and I'm just saying, if anybody does come up, if you see me out there and you want to say hi, please introduce yourself, and I will appreciate that a lot.
I gotta, just because you're telling stories, I gotta say the very first time, I think I was on YouTube for about a year and a half, might have had 1,500 subscribers, and I went to the Woodstock train show, and I didn't think anything of it. I'm posting videos. I'm not thinking anything about YouTube or anything else. And I said, some guy started following me around, and I started getting a little creeped out about it, but it's like, I'm at a train show, whatever. And then he comes up behind me, grabs me by the shoulder. He's like, hey man, you're Sparky 107. I turned around and went, yeah, so what?
He's like, I'll never meet that guy again. He was a dick.
I know. He's like, but I watch you on YouTube. And I'm like, oh, cool. I had no idea back then, right? But I understand what you're trying to say, just exactly from that too. So
yeah, I don't know. It's kind of a minor thing, but I don't know. It would be a lot easier, especially for someone who actually is kind of introvert. People watching are like, he's not introverted. What's he talking about? But
that's why we do videos.
No, but really, I much prefer to be behind the camera than in front of the camera. So there's a reason for that.
So with this YouTube meet and greet, Sydney's putting something together.
Yeah.
It's on
we
Facebook,
we actually have a Facebook page for it, because here's the thing. It's really hard to know sort of what to plan for unless you have a clear idea of how many people are going. Mm-hmm. So we put together a Facebook page, which let me grab the address off my other window here real quick, and I will post this to the live chat over there. I apologize. This is a Facebook group, and I know that not everybody's on Facebook, but
yeah, now to go with that, I usually do a video do. I hate when I do that.
You do, huh?
I do. So I will be posting a video probably in the next couple of weeks. I'm still working with Heath on some kind of design for the YouTube meet and greet, and we'll get that up and going. But I normally post a video, or I always do, that says, please sign up here. And that way exactly what you're doing there on Facebook is get an idea who's coming, and we can plan events by the numbers that are coming. Especially when it comes to prices, guys, like things get cheaper the more people that are coming. So if we get 50 people that show up, your price might go down like $3-5. You get 150 people that show up, and then John goes home because he's like really scared of all the people.
Well, not exactly. But,
okay. So, but no, we can take a head count. It just makes things a lot easier to plan.
Yeah. What you're saying makes all the sense, because one of the things I believe, now I don't know. And here's the other thing too. I got to mention this. The plans that are listed on the Facebook group are what we're planning right now. All of that stuff is subject to change, and some other really cool stuff that's not on there could happen. So there's a couple of ways to look at that. But the point is, I think that Michelle is going to get tickets to the train show in Cheyenne that we're all going to on Friday.
Wristband.
I'm pretty sure that if she gets a whole bunch, that it costs less.
Right.
So
yeah, she's doing wristbands. I think she said she was going to trade it.
Yeah, whatever it is. There's some right. I mean, it'll all be organized in a certain way. But the point is that there's a price break if you have, 100 tickets as opposed to 10. So, or as opposed to just showing up and paying your own way. I mean, you're going to pay your own way, but I mean, paying your own way without being part of a group, it's going to cost more for you. So you could save a few bucks by making it known that you're one of these people. And at some point, we may even have like sign up sheets so that whoever ordered something is who gets it at that price, right?
Well, if we do events that cost money, there will be a sign up sheet. And a lot of times, if I do remember when I did the dining car experience, I know what it cost me, and I put it out there to everybody else what it was going to cost them to do the dining car. And it was not a problem getting those dining car seats sold. So, and that's the other thing though, like, if there is a fee involved, more people that sign up for it, we can get it for hopefully a lower price, but fees have to be paid, and those people have to show up then, right? So,
yep. there's
And then if
another
it's
thing
extra
about,
after that, you're okay. So
yeah, there's another thing about signing up, which is if we go do something and only 20 people can go and you're not
John,
signed up, you ain't
John,
getting in.
I'm just going to leave you in charge for about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Go for it. You're talking anyway.
Well, I'm just saying that, that's.
I got to go out of the room.
I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just wanted to put that out there that it's another thing. If there's somewhere that we end up going that's limited, and we have the list of people who signed up for it, that's who's going to get in. So, and I'm not going to say what things that could be limited, but there are some really cool things that could be limited to size. So that's really all I was going to say.
I'm just leaving the room for like 2 minutes. So,
so I have a question. I have a question for you, John.
Sure.
So what's the geography here? Because I don't know Colorado. So I'm trying to figure out, I'm hearing like Greeley, I'm hearing Michelle's house, I'm hearing a train show. So where's all this happening? Is it a tight geographic area? Is it all in one town? Is it all over the map?
Tell you what I'll do. I'll make this easy. I'm going to open up on a different window a map of Colorado.
Okay.
Of the area that we're going to be in, and I will tell you the distances that we're talking about.
I need a geography lesson.
Sure. Let me open this up real quick here. I just have to figure out. Let me put this over here on my other screen.
And the reason I'm asking is there might be some people driving in, there might be people flying in. So sort of to get an idea of like, if you're driving somewhere, staying somewhere, flying somewhere, I want to get a sense of what we're talking about.
Yeah. And I think I can give you an idea of that here. Let me just bring this up. So I need to first show you the entire state. Okay, so let me share my screen. Sorry, I'm trying to do that. I was not expecting to have to do this. But
it's okay. It's a pop quiz, geography pop quiz.
All right. So let's see if this comes up on our screen here. I said, Dave has to bring it on. Shoot. He said he was leaving the room, didn't he?
Yeah, hang on. I might be able to present a map of Colorado.
Oh, okay.
Do you have a little button in the bottom that says present?
Oh, let me see. I don't. Well, I do. Hold on. Let me see if I can bring it onto the screen. No, I can't. Dave has to do it. Well, so let me. Okay. Oh, you got it, Dave?
Yeah, but I don't see it.
It's at the bottom there in the basement.
Yeah, I see Bernard.
Trying to share something. You might have to scroll down on. There it is. Okay, so here's Denver, right?
Okay.
Here, let me bring this down a little bit.
Nice.
Here's Denver. Here's Cheyenne. This is Wyoming. This is Colorado. If you fly into Denver, and by the way, look, there's Greeley. It's exactly halfway between Cheyenne and Denver.
And where's the show?
The show is here in Cheyenne. This is where the train show is. So let me explain what's going to happen. So Greeley is about an hour drive from Denver. So if you fly into Denver, you drive an hour, you get to Greeley. If you stay in Greeley, it's just an hour drive to get to Cheyenne. So what we're planning at the moment is to come into just most people I think are going to stay in Greeley because it's pretty central to everything that we're going to do. And so if you fly into to Denver, you drive to Greeley, stay overnight. Cheyenne's an hour away. Friday, Cheyenne is where the train show is. Then the next day, we're going to actually drive out to, let me blow this up here. We're going to drive out to a place called Boulder, which is, I'm sorry, not Boulder. What is that place called? Golden. Golden is down here. You see this?
Yeah.
That's a little, barely more than an hour. It's like an hour and 10 minutes away from Greeley. Then we're going to drive into Denver to do, so in Golden is where the Colorado Railroad Museum is. And so we're going to get a look at the Colorado Railroad Museum. Now, it's not the Colorado Model Railroad Museum where Michelle works, but it's the Railroad Museum, the Prototype Museum. It's a great museum. I don't remember if it came out yet or not, but I did a video at the museum in Golden. I think you might have seen it, Bernard, because you're on the train crew, and it was on a preview that I posted recently to Patreon. But anyway, it's going to come out soon, and it's called the Colorado Railroad Museum. From there, so we're going to go there in the morning. Then we're going to Denver to something called the Forney Museum of Transportation, I think, or Forney Transportation Museum. The reason why is twofold. One, it's a cool, well, threefold. One, it's a cool museum. They have all kinds of different exhibits that are modes of transportation. So airplanes, motorcycles, cars, trains, helicopters. They have everything in this place. Bicycles, right? Unicycles, probably. But anyway, also there, they have one of the big boys. They have the 4005, if I remember right, that's sitting on static display there. So you can see if you have a list of big boys, I think there's like 7 big boys that are still in existence. You could check one of them off your list. Then they also have an N-scale club that has a layout there on the same property where the Forney Museum is. I think it's the Sherman Hill Club or something like that is their name. Then from there, we're going to drive back to Greeley, where Michelle is going to give everybody a proper tour of the Colorado Model Railroad Museum. So that's going to be a big day on Saturday. Something else I need to mention is, since everyone's going to be in Cheyenne on Friday for the train show, there's another big boy on public display in a park. It's the 4004 in Cheyenne. And you can search for that on my channel, TSG Multimedia. It's the just search for Big Boy 4004 in Holiday Park, and you'll find that on my channel, and you'll see. So you can check a big boy off your list there. Something else that's really cool. Sorry, I'm kind of going all over the place. I'm back on Friday right now because it's something that's important. Sometimes, and nobody knows if they're going to do it this time, but sometimes for the train show in Cheyenne, Union Pacific will have the steam shops open and they'll do limited tours of the steam shop. Well, nobody gets to go in the steam shops. It's a rare thing. It's like a really big opportunity if you can go to that. If they have the steam shops open in conjunction with that train show, you could check another big boy off your list, because everybody knows the 4014 is in the steam shops in Cheyenne when it's not out on the road somewhere. So, and I'm not saying that they will have it open. I really don't know if they're going to have it open.
I know our fingers are crossed for it. That's for sure.
My fingers are really crossed.
So
anyway,
here's a question for you.
Oh,
When you talk about moving around, are you thinking of getting a bus and busing everyone around, or are you thinking everyone's going to drive around?
people are going to drive around.
Okay.
Or a couple of us will be renting vans to do it too. So.
Yeah.
Okay. So there are
I'm
three options.
going to rent a vehicle anyway.
So either Cheyenne is a base of operations, or Greeley is a base of operations, or Denver is a base of operations.
Greeley.
Well, we figure Greeley because it's central to everything that's happening.
Okay.
I didn't even talk about Sunday yet. Should I talk about Sunday?
Well, I'm just looking at the train show thing because that's where Bernard would be, which is in Cheyenne. And then the last thing we're going to be doing on Saturday is Colorado Model Railroad Museum. So he could make the trip from there to there.
Yeah, after the show comes in.
Hopefully he'd be staying there anyway. And it's going to be a later night that night. So
yeah. Sorry, Bernard. I wasn't thinking in the context of you being at the show. I was thinking of just what our plans are.
Yeah, no, I'm interested in both as a show attendee, but also as a railroad attendee. I'm trying to wrap my head around, both from myself, but also from people attending. So the show is Saturday only. Is that correct?
I don't know. I really don't know the details of the show.
It's Friday. The train show itself is Friday, Saturday.
Oh, it's not on Sunday, Dave? It's just Friday, Saturday? Oh, okay, cool. So you'd have Sunday to go do the other thing with us if you wanted to, Bernard.
Okay, that's interesting. No, so this is very interesting. Okay.
Now, the other thing, Bernard, too, is Thursday is the unofficial meet and greet, because everybody shows up Thursday, gets a room and everything else. So it's a very unorganized, I'm going to say, get together, and it's very open. And then the Monday is, again, everybody leaves Monday or could leave Tuesday or whatever. But again, it's nothing will ever be set up, but people can make plans to do other things. Now, there has been talks of a group going to, what is it? What's the big train that does the mountain up there, John?
Well, that's
Silverton?
Pikes Peak?
No, hold on. Time out.
I thought it was Silverton or something.
No, on Sunday, it's something called
Georgetown
Loop.
Georgetown
Loop. Oh, Monday? No.
Yeah, Monday was the unofficial Silverton trip.
No, I don't know anything about Silverton. Silverton is here. Let me show you where Silverton is.
Unofficial.
Let me show you where it is.
It's 3
Are
hours.
you watching? Oh, it's more than 3 hours. Here's Durango.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah,
where
maybe it was Durango.
This is where the Durango and Silverton starts.
Yeah. Okay.
Silverton is a little town over here. Here, hold on, let me find it. Sorry, my map skills aren't the best. Silverton is a little town up here. And the Durango and Silverton runs from here to here. But look where that is compared to where we're going to be. It's all the way on the other side of the state.
Hey, Sparky.
It takes you about probably 5 or 6 hours to get down here, depending on traffic.
I'm thinking you and I need to split on a Winnebago.
There you go.
Right?
We can do that too, bud.
Yeah. For people that are interested, on Sunday, the idea is to go to something called Georgetown Loop. And Georgetown Loop is here. So it's only about a 40-minute drive out of Denver. And that's a really cool place. They have one of maybe the highest trestle in Colorado. It's way up there. So it's a cool place. They have, I think the ride is only about, 45 minutes or something, but you go to a place called the Silver Plume Mine, and you can do a mine because it was a mining operation, I think, at some point. And you can do a tour of the mine. I've done this, years and years ago. And then the other thing is at Georgetown Loop, I'm pretty sure that we can finagle a shop tour in their shops. Yeah. So the idea was on Sunday was that people would drive out to Georgetown Loop, ride the train, do that, and then whoever's leaving on Sunday can go back to Denver and just fly out of Denver after the Georgetown Loop trip. Does that make sense?
Oh, it does. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Like I said, the Durango and Silverton, that's kind of.
Uh-oh. What was that?
Fumble.
Something decided to fall on the floor.
That wasn't a train, was it?
You better not be a locomotive.
Yeah.
No, I'll show it off real quick. I've been working on these signs that go on my Helix, and they're just things I've been making up with wood and stuff like that.
Oh, cool.
So
got it.
And they're just to show off the Sidetrack Sunday gang.
Cool.
So that was basically Bernard, the gang that we went to see down there, Heath and Ray and those guys.
Can you go full screen, Sparky?
Right?
I could.
So what was the date in May for this again?
There we go. Now we can see it. Oh, that's cool.
Nice, Sparky.
So I just made those out of barbecue skewers and everything else, and for some reason it decided to fall off the layout. So
I made the map go away. I didn't think do we need to look at it anymore?
No, I have one question. Oh. Another question. What is the train show in Cheyenne? Because it's not the Rocky Mountain Train Show, is it?
No, I think the Rocky Mountain Train Show is the one in Denver. Let me find it.
Yeah, I have to go back on a lot of text to find the answer to that.
Because I see the Rocky Mountain Train Show is April 1st and 2nd in Denver. So what is the train show in Cheyenne?
I'll tell you. Hold on. It's something bigger. It might be. Hold on.
Yeah. So while Doug's looking that up, I'm kind of thinking too is because we're doing an unofficial meet and greet at some point too, and we got soundtracks. There's a lot of the bigger companies are going to be at this train show.
Oh yeah.
And we're just going to be throwing the feelers out to a lot of these companies that we are holding a meet and greet, and we would really like them to kind of attend the unofficial side of it just to kind of meet you guys and hang out and everything else. Yeah. The word unofficial is out there just for the simple fact that it is kind of wide open. It's nothing. It's don't come formally dressed and everything else. It's you're just coming to hang out, throw a drink of your choice in your hand type thing and talk to people.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So it is. There's so much in the works for this meet and greet. It's just kind of crazy, but
I found it. It's called Cheyenne Railroad Heritage Days Train Show.
Right.
Yeah. So it's a big deal for Cheyenne. It's like their big train show for the year. And, people will be up from soundtracks. You're going to have probably most of the major vendor type people at this thing, and they're all staying in Cheyenne. So actually, Bernard, if you were to do it as an exhibitor, you'd probably stay in Cheyenne. I think you could probably stay Saturday night someplace else further south if you want to be closer to, everything else that we're doing. That's up to you though.
Got it.
So
Sherman Train Show, May 20th and 21st.
I think
Cheyenne,
that was,
Wyoming.
yeah. Did you find that?
Yeah.
I clicked off of it. Hold on. Let me reopen what I had.
Okay, John, we got it up on the screen.
Oh, do we?
I think I found the Facebook or yeah.
And Caboose 121, I'm thinking it was Friday, Saturday, but we'll have to double check too. Doesn't change the plans of the meet and greet. So
I'm trying to figure out. Hold on a second. The list I got was from 2020, and it was on
2023 is May 20th and 21st.
Oh, so it's on Saturday and Sunday?
Saturday and Sunday, correct.
Oh, well, we might have to look at the calendar and figure this out. Like I said, we're still planning stuff, so I might be off on that still.
I've thrown the link in the private chat. You guys can share it to the
thank you.
Into that's their Facebook page.
Yeah, let me copy and paste it into the main thing here.
I'm pretty sure Michelle would have had the dates right when we were first talking about this anyway. So
yeah, well, again, we're still in the process, so
there's a chance. Easy enough for us to screw up the dates.
Yeah,
because we're so damn excited.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what we're thinking here, thinking that it's on Friday and Saturday. That doesn't really make that when someone said that, it didn't make sense to me that it was Friday, Saturday, because train shows are always Saturday, Sunday, aren't they?
Michelle would have made the plans for Saturday, Sunday being the train show. The meet and greet's always been Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I'm off by a day. Maybe the idea is to stay until Monday and go do Georgetown on Monday. I don't remember.
I'm pretty sure Georgetown was probably Sunday.
Yeah. We'll figure it out. The point is we have the Facebook group where you can get all of the information that will be updated.
And you can throw that Facebook group back up there a couple times there, John.
Oh, I gotta find it again. Hold on a second. I have it open.
You just threw the other one up. So yeah, guys, click the link to the Facebook group for the meet and greet that John just posted. And it'll keep you guys updated what's going on. It's also going to be a sign-up sheet saying you are going for sure. So if you do that, like we said, it gives us an opportunity to plan things. The other thing is, too, I know there was one thing that we were talking about doing, but it needed a certain amount of people to do it. So again, if we get a certain amount of people, then we can start looking at other exhibits and stuff, too. So.
You know what I'm thinking might have happened, Dave? I think I might have switched Friday and Saturday around just in my brain. I did a Jedi mind trick on myself.
Yeah, probably.
So maybe
121 saying he sets up on Friday normally.
Yeah, maybe what the idea was to go do all that stuff on Friday, then do the train show on Saturday. That the stuff I thought we were doing on Friday. You see what I'm saying?
Again, sign up to the Facebook page.
Yeah, sign up to the Facebook page. We'll update that regularly, I'm sure, with whatever plans happen. The important thing is to let us know if you want to be in that area to go whatever we end up doing. So.
Well, see, Tom's already saying he's got a pack so he can get ready to go to Colorado. So.
Well, there you go.
Or he might be on his way home from Pennsylvania. So either way. So I want to go back to the plumber for a minute. Let's talk about your whole experience. With the Timonium train show. You had an exhibit there too. Was that your club?
Yes, it's a club I belong to.
So I just did a video on setting up and things like that with Bernie's train show, but how do you guys find it with a club setting up?
Depends on how many club members show up for the setup.
Well, take it from the Timonium show. You guys showed up what, Friday?
Yes, very early Friday. I think I got there around 11:30, and I was late by almost an hour from when the rest of my crew got there. They had most of the trailers unloaded, so I just had to start pulling modules and putting on legs. We had almost all of it set up except for the scenery at the end of the night Friday. We spent about an hour Saturday figuring some stuff out and putting the scenery on. We had another short on one side of the layout. So we had a couple of guys sitting there working on that for half of the Saturday. And from there, it was free running and have a good time, you know.
So running the trains and stuff like that, who gets to pick what trains run?
Our club, it's first come, first serve. You set up, you're ready. You got a clear main line. Enjoy.
So how many trains did you have running?
Oh, I only have one train to run at shows right now. So, yeah, I do have a short video of it running around, but other than playing, I did not pull the camera out that much, you know.
So I'm just trying to read the print.
Roger that. Sunday morning, one of our club members set up a op session. So we all got there as soon as the show let the vendors and stuff in, and we started an operation session. It took us about 2 hours. It's fun.
So
I can do that all day.
Did you have to stay there the whole time or what?
No, we can do whatever we wish to do. You know, I was in and out the whole time, back and forth, outside, inside, you know, off the fairgrounds, back to the fairgrounds.
So what'd you buy?
I got a J-Class steam locomotive, Bachman, a Athearn Blue Box, Dash 9. It was the demo, GE's demo model. And I got 3 of the B&O Spectrum passenger cars.
Very cool. And
Yep.
you also bought a mini print.
Yes, bought a mini print.
Well, you didn't buy a mini print when you were there. But
I did. I didn't buy it at the show. I actually bought it the other day, yesterday or the day before, I think.
So Colorado, meet and greet. You coming or what?
Oh, I'm thinking about it. You know, I see the little town name just above to the left of Denver. It says Fort Collins, and my daughter spent a year of college there, so I'm very fond of that. And I think it's Horsetooth is the reservoir up there you can boat and fish on. So you know, if I can make it, I will.
Well, that's why we do it so early and announce it so early, so you can book the time off work, book hotels, and make a holiday trip out of it with your family, even because it is a family event. So
that is true. That is true. And I know my son would love to see all the trains.
And John, there is a lot of trains up there to see, is there not?
There's all kinds of trains.
Like Bernard,
even if you just went to Cheyenne or just to Denver or just to Greeley, there's a line between Denver and Cheyenne that goes right through Greeley. You could hang out in Greeley and Railfan that line. I mean, you'll get probably half a dozen trains through there in a day. It's not bad. To me, that's a lot because where I live, we don't get anything.
so if you're going to come to the meet and greet and stuff like that, are you just coming to hang out with us or what? Yeah, you.
Mostly. I mean, Sydney has family with a place up in Estes Park, which is about 45-minute drive from where we're going to be. So we might go hang out with them before or after it. But our general mode of operation is to go out on a Tuesday, stay for a week, and then come back on the next Tuesday. So that'll give us plenty of time to do whatever we want to do.
But being TSG Multimedia, you're going to take some video, are you not?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I see. I see what you're saying. Well, yeah, there's actually 2 things at least that I'm thinking to do. One is there was a place that we wanted to go last time we were there that we just ran out of time and didn't get to go. So we'll probably get in touch with them and go do a video about their place. I don't remember what it was called now, but then the other thing was, and this is another one of these if things, right? If Michelle has the internet that she's expecting to have hooked up by then, she said they're going to have fiber, which is really fast internet. We may do a live stream from the museum at some point. I have no idea what that's going to look like. It might just be following her around on a tour of the museum with everybody else that's there and getting reactions, from people that are there. Don't know. Or maybe we'll set up a table and do a little live show from there and, I don't know, bring people up and talk to them. I don't know. We'll find out. But
so you're saying I could actually be live on TSG Multimedia?
Theoretically, you could be live, but I'm going to have to figure out a way to blur out your face. Just censor it, because we're trying to remain kid friendly.
Oh my
channel.
God. And these are the people I actually call friends.
My channel is not like yours. We can't say shit on my channel like Bernard did here. We're not allowed to do that.
Yeah, you can't on mine either. So
I had to sign a waiver to be on John's channel.
Yeah, I will not cuss. Yeah.
Well, no, he brings beer all the time. So.
Oh, is that what it is? Oh man. Yeah, no,
Bernard.
if we do that live thing, that should be a lot of fun. And again, I don't really know what that will look like. We got plenty of time to plan though. So if we end up doing it, I'm sure it'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, the biggest thing right now is what we want to know, especially on that Facebook group post that John put up there.
Yeah.
Facebook group too. See, I don't do Facebook enough. So, but sign up and say that you're coming or thinking about coming or something like that, so we can start really planning this kind of stuff.
Yeah, I don't know that Sydney has made an official sign up page or sign up sheet or whatever, but do register your interest, right? By going to the Facebook group and at least, put a comment on there. Hey, I am planning to go. It'll give us some idea. If we end up with 400 posts, then we'll know that there's going to be a lot of people going.
Well, the other thing I'd like to see too, and I'm pretty sure everybody can do it, but I can invite people to come to the Facebook group. And then I'm pretty sure those people can invite people to come to the Facebook group. So it's a great way to get the word out there too. There's going to be a train show going anyway. So, hey man, let's all get together and have a huge meet and greet. So
we're going to have a foam party. It's a foam
be a way to get rid of you.
We're going to call it Foam Fest.
Short out our railroads.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the cool thing though, also is if you're able to stay in Colorado for a few extra days, you could drive down to the Durango and Silverton and to the Cumbres and Toltec, which is out of Chama, New Mexico, or Antonito, Colorado. And boy, those are both really worthwhile to go see. I went and saw them in the summer of last year, not a couple months ago summer, but a year ago. And boy, talk about Colorado narrow gauge, especially the Durango and Silverton. You can ride that one. You can do kind of a half-day trip from Durango to a place called Cascade Canyon. That is a really, really cool trip. I mean, you're talking about climbing along on a sheer cliff, and it's wide enough for the train, cut out of the rock face of this cliff, and it's a probably 300-foot drop, and you can see the river way down there. I mean, if you're afraid of heights, it's probably not so great, but it is a great example of what narrow gauge Colorado railroading is and was. It's just an amazing thing. And if you can take those extra couple of days, either before or after, then there's Georgetown Loop. There's something called Leadville that I haven't been to. There's Royal Gorge, which you can go to. I mean, you can look on the map and go see Moffett Tunnel, which is, I think, one of the so-called wonders of the railroad world. Moffett Tunnel. It's like one of the longest tunnels. It's really Colorado's a great place for railroad stuff. There's all kinds of, there's Central, Grand Central, whatever they call it, Union Station in Denver. That's worth looking at. There's all kinds of stuff going on.
Sounds like John's a little excited to go to Colorado again too.
I am. I like Colorado. It's like, to me, it's like the second state that I wouldn't mind living in. California being the first one that I'm born and raised here. So I'm, just a California native, but I really like Colorado a lot.
Well, Bernard's been quiet too long, so I'm just going to go back to him because I'm pretty much going to wrap up the show. But Bernard,
well, no, I'm very interested when you said Moffett Tunnel, because I was contacted by the executive director, and I'm going to get this wrong, I'd have to look it up, but of the Moffett Tunnel Museum type thing, and I'm doing 500 scale figures for him.
Wow.
Let me get his name. Hang on. I'll tell
you.
You
did just say 500 scale figures.
Yeah, 500.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
And all different.
No, there are going to be a number of different poses duplicated. So this is a gentleman named Staples, Executive Director, Moffett Railroad Museum in Granby. Anyone
That's in Colorado?
I don't know. It says Granby.
Look at the great mind of John go to work.
I'm looking to see
80446. I'm going to Google the zip code. Hang on. Granby, Colorado.
Moffett
outside of
Road
Boulder.
Museum.
Yeah, so Moffetty, Moffaty Road Railroad Museum.
Are you sure there's a Y on it?
Oh no,
'Cause
Moffett Road.
Yeah, I found Moffett Road Museum.
yeah.
I didn't even know this exists. I have not been
Okay.
there.
Well, I'm doing 500 HO scale 1920s men and women standing and seated for a diorama he's doing of the 1928 opening of the Moffett Tunnel.
Cool. Do you know, Bernard, that looks like it's on the far side of the Moffett Tunnel.
Okay.
Which doesn't look like it's too far away from Denver. So apparently you probably could drive out there to see that.
Well, that would be something that would be on my list. I mean, seeing as it would be lovely to see the figures in the display.
Oh, absolutely.
That's a real business trip.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do something here from Denver to Granby.
It's gonna make me share a screen again.
No, I'm just going to see how long of a drive it is, just to give you an idea of how you could.
I'm just trying to figure out how to explain to my wife that I'm going to take off in the car and be gone for 3 months.
Well, I would hope you bring your wife with you.
I would hope so,
not
too.
sure. Someone that might be a hard sell.
Well, my wife's coming. Sean's wife's coming.
My wife is going.
Yeah, so
Michelle is somebody's wife.
It could be a wife's club.
I'm not sure I want to leave a 16 and a 14 alone in the 14-year-old and a 16-year-old alone in the home for a week.
Oh,
that could be the
Party
idea.
central.
Bring them with you.
Yeah. Hey kids, it's National Lampoon's Family Vacation.
Yeah.
And there's another copyright strike right now.
Hey, look, there's Big Ben.
Either that or, hey kids, only have one kegger. So I'm looking at the map though, Bernard, just to give you an idea. It's less than 2 hours to get to Granby from Denver. So
Otter Creek and Rio Grande has asked whether the 1920s figures will be available. And I would think so. Let me see if I have I've done one figure so far of my wife in a 1920s. They call it a cloche. So it's like the hat that's shaped like a bell. And like a 1920s, well, the tunnel was opening in winter, so it was a winter coat. And it turned out beautiful. It's just fantastic. So provided that the Railroad Museum doesn't object, I'd like to bring them out. I don't see any reason why I wouldn't. And yeah, I agree. There is a real lack of 1920s figures on the market, for sure.
That's what a lot of people don't understand about what Bernard does in the 3D printing of figures and making scans and things like that is he does need permission from the person that he scanned or he's doing the prints for, such so on and so forth. He can't just go, yep, I'm selling it all. So
well, I certainly like to ask. It's always, better to ask permission nicely than than just take their image.
for sure.
well, though, thinking about this, if I have to stand on a Lazy Susan for 3 minutes while your computer scans me, am I not implying that I know what you're doing? It's not like you're going to sneak around and sell it. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like when someone dials in to be on one of my shows on my channel. It's like, that we're going live on YouTube, right? So there's kind of an implied consent, isn't there?
When people dress up and stuff like that too, they might be doing it just for their layout or just for their kids or
I see
that type of thing too.
I know what I should do. You know how when you open in the old days when software was delivered on floppy disk and you like slice the envelope open and there was that little thing on the tab that said, by opening this envelope you agreed to whatever.
Yeah,
I'm gonna put a little sticker on the turntable that says by spinning on this turntable you agree to the following.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you could just have a generic talent release form that people can sign that gives you permission to do whatever you want with their likeness once it's done or whatever.
Exactly. That's probably something I'll do for Springfield.
Right. Especially if you think about it this way. If you think, well, I mean, first of all, if you scan someone that's that no one knows who they are? What they're not going to get damages if you sell their likeness. Do you know what I mean?
I would never do it without asking permission.
Of course, yeah, of course,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's
I
outstanding.
mean, and the funny thing is, there are people that would, but in this hobby, A, everyone knows everyone else, and B, you're only as good as your reputation. So,
Yep.
I think it's a small enough community that we all
It
should
is.
play by the rules.
It is.
For sure. So, Bernard, talking about Amherst and stuff like that, and I don't know if you really want to get into it too much, and if you don't, just say you don't, but what would you do different?
Oh, so many things. So many things. I learned so much. So number one, probably some sort of pre-sign up, either before the event or at the event, so that people can actually sort of schedule time. I think the biggest problem with Amherst is going to be, and I mean, I've never been before, so full disclosure, I'm going by what everyone said, but there are like literally 20,000 people.
That's a slow Amherst.
Yeah, exactly. So my biggest fear right now is there's only a certain finite number of spots that are going to be available. And even if I don't eat, sleep, or pee, there's still only a finite number of spots available. So figuring out how to schedule is a big part. The other thing is figuring out how to streamline it as efficiently as possible, so that we can get as many in as possible, is going to be important. So, the flow through, being as efficient with time as possible. I think it's really important to capture everybody's information, exactly what they want, their billing address, all that stuff beforehand, because there's been a lot of back and forth by email. It's just a waste of time.
So we got to get a sheet ready for that.
Yeah, I want to do it all online, just sort of like have an iPad where they just sort of, enter all their information. The other thing is, and maybe it's just the process, but I'm still chasing after about a third of the people to see if they actually want to order them.
Yeah.
Which, it's okay if they do or don't, that's fine. But it's a lot of time and effort to scan them and process them and print them if they actually just don't want it, or if they've fallen off the face of the earth. So it's also figuring out a little bit about, how to make sure that the time and energy that we invest scanning them and the spot they take up is actually going to result in, quote unquote, a sale. Because, if nothing else, we still have to break even. Yeah. And then other things like people have talked about consent, sort of just working out all the processes. But I mean, in terms of the technology, I think there's very little I do different. In terms of the personnel who are manning the booth, I think there's very little different. In terms of the booth design, I have some ideas. But no, I think Timonium was like a really good trial.
Did we lose your mic?
Uh-oh, what happened?
No.
Oh, there we go.
You just cut out suddenly.
Yeah, you just cut it off.
Timonium was great. Timonium was a great trial run, and there's very little I do different. It's just refining it.
The process.
That's cool. And like, just to add my 2 cents to the Timonium thing, like I said, I found it amazing how popular you were. You mentioned a couple times that people come over and said, I just came here for the show. And I heard that twice, and I thought it was great. The guy with the little girl, it, like you said, you wanted to cry type thing on it. And it pulled on my heartstrings too. It's like she wanted to be part of her dad's layout and vice versa type thing. Like he really wanted that. And she was just such a sweetheart standing on that thing and just watching her stand there for like the 3 minutes, as still as she could be, not smiling, not smirking, not even glancing at anything to make sure that was a perfect print, was just a phenomenal thing to watch. And as far as Amherst goes, there's a couple things, yes, that the biggest thing I think we got to get changed on that is people walking through the spot. So when you were scanning, I think we had it twice that somebody would all of a sudden start walking through. And once I had to yell, and once you kind of, and there's got to be a way. And I think Heath has come up with a good divide of that. And so did I, is like you see at the bank where you get the little pull out chain type thing or whatever that people can't walk through while you're scanning. So
I'm thinking also two very large security guards on either side.
I'm not that big, okay?
No, John's also got us in a really good spot. So the spot that John's going to put us is like a really it's a really nice sort of U shape. There's like, he's got us in a really good area. We're not in the middle. And I mean, it looks like we're going to be in, I think, is it the Better Living building or whatever?
At least.
I forget the name of it, but there, yeah. Oh, and I also wanted to do a call out. Fred Wild has a really good idea in the chat. So there's all sorts of, excuse me. Yeah, so that comment. I'm not sure how much time and effort to invest in sort of the technological solutions. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm more a sort of write it down on a piece of paper kind of guy, but I think at some point you can spend millions of dollars and thousands of hours sort of coming up with a technological solution for 20 scans. But I think there is something there. So it's figuring out how to use technology to streamline the process without overkill. So if there's a sort of an off-the-shelf solution that I can implement, to my existing web, some sort of sign-up form or unique ID, I'll look into it. But thank you, Fred. That's a really good idea.
The only thing I'd really like to see different from Timodium to maybe Amherst, and it is all based on people and demand and everything else, is while the show is closed, you get the vendors. And the vendors come over while the show is on. And they're like, can you scan me? But why can't they do that before and after the show? Because you're going to be there anyway. You're spending the night. So that's something I think I'd like to see set up at Amherst, is maybe you talk to the director or whatever and say, listen, after the first day of the show, if vendors want to get scanned, they can come over later and get it done after. Because the last day on at Timonium, what I found is they were closing up their booths at 3 o'clock, and we were still there at 5 o'clock, still scanning people that were vendors, which took away from the general public. So that was only my thought on that situation. So
the other thing I'm thinking, and it really depends on demand and weather and timing and everything else, but I'm thinking that maybe Friday. So Timonium Amherst is, excuse me, is Saturday and Sunday. But maybe I go and I set up Thursday, if that's possible, and do all day Friday for insiders, VIP, media, pre-bookings. So there might be an opportunity to have a day in advance to do people who are there beforehand.
Well, that's another good idea too. So, okay, well, that's an hour and 38 minutes, guys. I think that's long enough. I thought I was going to wait for Heath to come in, but he's on date night, so I think that goes till 9. We're not going to make it.
Hey, Sparky, can I do two quick plugs?
Is it for me?
Yeah, sure.
I got a plug for you.
Here we go.
No, I just wanted to remind people that I'm on next Wednesday. So you very kindly gave up your first Wednesday of the month. So
I gave my third Wednesday up too to the other guy that's up there.
Yeah. Well, so first Wednesday of the month, which is, I believe, next Wednesday, the 2nd?
Second, I think.
I think it's the 2nd. Excuse me. I'm live, and I've got all sorts of shenanigans planned. So if anyone wants to come and join me, same bat time, same bat channel. So 7 o'clock Eastern, Wednesday night, first Wednesday of the month, on the miniprints channel, Facebook and YouTube. And one of the things that I will be doing 1 week today is showing off all of the peanut butter mini print contest entries. So I'm not sure if everyone's aware, but there's a contest going on right now, and you just have to do a little diorama in a 3.5-inch peanut butter lid. And I don't have a peanut butter lid handy, but You know what they look like? They're just bits of peanut butter. Do you have your entry there, Sparky? There you go. Sparky's got his lid. So all you really need to do is just toss a mini print into a peanut butter lid and send me a photo. And if you don't have a mini print, doesn't matter. Just toss another figure in a mini print lid. Preferably make a diorama out of it. Preferably make it Halloween themed. Bit to me at Mini Prints. And everybody who enters is going to be entered into a random draw for a $100 Mini Prints gift card, which I will draw. Are you entering, John? I think you're on.
I have a question, but I have to unmute myself before I ask it. Did you say you don't have to have a Mini Prints print on the diorama?
Look, I mean, it would.
I know
be
you
lovely,
want one to, yeah,
but you don't have to. No, just enter a diorama. Just, I mean, it's all about having fun.
The reason I asked is because Sydney has one almost done, and then because I'm like, what are you doing? She says, oh, Bernard is doing this thing, and then I think it was yesterday morning. She's like, oh, I just learned that you have to have a mini prints thing on it.
You don't have to have a mini print on it.
I'll tell her to send the picture to you then, because she's doing a Halloween thing that's Halloween related. So
it's all about fun and creativity. And if you happen to throw a mini print on there, great. I mean, it's not judged. You're not disqualified if you don't have a mini print. No purchase necessary, as they say on the cereal boxes. It's all about having fun. It's all about showing some creativity. And enter it. You've got a week. They need to be to me by email by midnight on Halloween. So you've got till next Monday night.
Okay. She's on top of that then, because she was almost done with it already before she mistakenly thought that. I'll make sure to mention that to her when I go in.
Yeah. Yes, if the prints have not arrived by Wednesday, you can still enter. We tried to get all the Halloween mini prints that people ordered out in time, but the two factors that we didn't account for is number Timonium, and number two, because I lost a week at Timonium, and number two, I can get it to you on time. You know, the office can hold on to it for 6 months. So definitely, if in doubt, enter. If it's unfinished, enter. If it doesn't have a mini print on it, enter. It really is about creativity and fun and sharing. And that's the most important thing. And you'll still be entered to win the random. Someone's going to win the $100 gift card.
Thanks for doing it, Bernard. I think it's a good contest.
Yeah, no, it's fun. It's all.
I mean, I'm calling it a contest. I don't know if that's what you call it. It's a great activity.
Yeah, it's an activity. It's fun. And the thing too is, the thing that brings me the most pleasure, and this ties in, Sparky, with the 3D scans, is I love to see what people do with them. So my happiest moment is not when someone orders the mini prints. That's lovely, and I appreciate it. It's how I feed the kids, so thank you. And it's wonderfully creative to make them, and it's lovely to sell them. But what really brings me the most joy / what's the word I'm looking for?
Satisfaction.
Satisfaction. That's a good word. Is
pleasure.
Yeah, it's seeing when people actually paint them up and use them. And I know that there are probably thousands of mini prints sitting unpainted in little boxes. So this is really just an excuse to get people to actually, like, if they ordered them, you might as well pull one out. You might as well paint it. You might as well stick it, on a little bit of flock and turf or Sculptamold, and do something with it and send it in as a little diorama.
Free your mini prints, people.
Yeah, exactly. Paint them
what's
up.
really
fun.
Do you know what's really great about it, Bernard? And this is something that why I really appreciate the idea of the contest, or whatever you're going to call this, is it gets people to do something. It gets someone inspired to do something that otherwise they wouldn't have done. So, and that's half the battle of doing anything, is getting started. So by lighting that little fire under someone's ass, I think it's great. So,
and a peanut butter lid is how big, right?
What's that?
That's what I was going to say. And a peanut butter lid is how big? 3 inches, 3.5 inches, right? So how hard is it to throw the mini print on there, throw a tree, throw a little bit of static grass, well, not static grass, but flock or something on there, and send the picture in. Like Bernard said, it's not judged. It's just going to be a random draw. So
Well, I got to share a picture. I know we're at the end of the show and everything, but my employee Brett.
I don't need to go to work tomorrow anyway. We can stay up all night.
Well, we have to break the record, Dave. It's 4 hours and 13
No, we're not
minutes.
doing that.
I'm going to finish my peanut butter right now.
Yeah. And you know what? You can take the lid off the peanut butter, build the diorama, take a photograph, and then put the lid back on the peanut butter. So you don't have to mail anything in. It's let me see if I can find Brett's peanut butter lid entry because it was. Oh yeah, here it is. Can I share screen for a sec?
Yeah.
Okay, hang on. Let me go to StreamYard. Let me go present. I love this. Now he's not allowed to enter because he works for the company. But window. Let me do. Where's Facebook? Oh man, hang on.
I thought you said this was going to be real quick.
It is. It is. Hold on. Let me share. Okay, can you guys see this?
Yep.
Can you see? Okay, so this is what I love it.
Looks like a Facebook page.
It is a Facebook page. Can you see what he did?
There's my third strike.
Do you see what he
What
did?
Is it glow in the dark? What's that?
Yeah, all he
place
did
in
is
England?
he threw some glow
Stonehenge.
in the dark ghosts on the
Stonehenge.
peanut butter lid and took a picture.
Oh wow.
So it doesn't get it doesn't have to get more complicated than that.
I was going to clean out the litter box. Oh wait, I'm not going to do that to you.
That's a
Hey,
Jack
it's
Burgers thing.
It's ballast. I do have to say though that some of the most inspiring modeling I've seen done is done in 3 or 4 square inches.
Yeah. That's what people
And-
don't understand about modeling too, is you don't have to look at your whole layout to do it. Take a little section of it and do it. It could be a house in a backyard. It could be a 3-foot section. It could be a park. It could be any part that you want and just work on that. You don't have to do your whole layout at once. So
Well, and it can be practiced too. I mean, you can take that peanut butter lid and try a technique you've never done before and see if it works. And if it's crap, take a picture, send it to me and throw it out. If it's great, then incorporate it into your layout. It's just practice.
Sorry,
Plumber, are
Sparky.
you trying to say that I'm ignoring you or something?
No.
I'm looking at the chat going, dude,
I
you're
was
right there.
thinking Mystic wrote Sparky. It's dyslexia
okay.
coming out at the worst time.
All of a sudden, I'm like, did my chat really screw up that bad or what? So, okay,
Nope.
closing remarks, Plumber. Get it out of you.
Closing remarks. It was
About the
Great
show.
time at Timonium.
About being scanned, about being on the show.
appreciated it definitely, as far as Bernard doing all that great work there at Timonium. It was good to meet you, Sparky. Great to be on the show today. John, was absolutely a pleasure. In closing, I would like to show the inspirational picture of me for that little mini print. I don't know
There's
if it's
the
coming
mini print.
through or not, but
Yeah.
there it is. And there I am right
Word.
there.
Word.
So it says the Plumber 33. Where do we find that?
Oddities.
Are you on YouTube, bud?
Yes, the Plumber 33 on YouTube, brother. Thank you so much.
All right. So people should go over and find your channel, maybe subscribe, watch a couple of videos. That will be really cool.
amazing. Yes, sir.
All right. Stick around. Bernard might have a question for you afterwards. Now you're an oddity.
Clear.
Oh, shit. Yeah, here we go. John, YouTube meet and greet. I got to get rid of you guys somehow. See, it gets later. They just come out.
Just had a thought. Look at that.
Oh.
Well, we need an astronaut.
Afterthoughts, John?
Great point.
Oh, I'm just typing in my message right now because I didn't know if you were going to come to me or not.
Yeah, I was trying to think afterthoughts. Bernard's too busy screwing around, so
But he's trying
he
to
must be
give you
tired.
he's trying to give you a backache. So
Oh man.
my final comment is well, thanks for having me on. It's been too long since we've done this, and it's really great, Bernard, to get to hang out with you, and nice to meet you too, Stephen. So
Pleasure.
the feelings mutual. And I did put into the chat that if you're interested in going to the meet and greet for next year, to go like the page on Facebook one more time. The link is there one more time. And let's have fun with it. I mean, how often do you get to do that? So
Agreed.
Well, it seems like every time you and I get together, it seems to be a fun time. So
yeah, I mean,
Bernard helps.
yeah, right. It'll be fun though. Like, I haven't met Bernard in person, but I feel like I know you, Bernard. Like it would be like seeing a friend that I saw last month, so
it really is surreal. I mean, I felt the same way when I met Heath, when I met,
I gotta ask that question, Bernard. When the YouTube meet and greet was at your booth, what were you thinking?
Dear God, why did I sign up for this?
The booth behind us was not too happy, or in front of us, whichever way you look at it.
No, it was amazing. I mean, that's why we went down, right? I mean, everything, it was fun. It's nice to, to pay for a new moonroof. It's nice to, pay for accommodation. It's nice to break even on gas money. But at the end of the day, I mean, the whole point of the thing, I mean, really, the reason I went down was to meet a whole bunch of people, people who, said, hey, are you coming? I mean, that's why I went to Timonium, is because I started to get all these emails that said, are you going to Timonium? Are you going to Timonium? And I'm like, what's Timonium? I mean, I literally did not know what Timonium was.
It sounds like cough medicine or something.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I went to the doctor and I got this Timonium.
Timonium oil.
Exactly. So I honestly, like, that was, and then the 3D scanning was just kind of like, okay, if I'm going down to Timonium to meet everyone, I got to figure out what I'm doing there. So it kind of was like Timonium first, meet and greet second, and then the scanning was like the third. And it just turned out well, and I'm pleased it turned out well. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of weird because you form these relationships and you feel like you know these people, but you don't, because you've never met them. So it's kind of natural to sort of like, well, let's meet. Yeah. And it was absolutely the best part of the whole thing.
I can say also that I have never met someone from online who wasn't exactly the way I expected them to be. Maybe taller or shorter, but other than that, it's like, oh yeah, you're exactly who I expected to be. You to
wow,
be.
John, you're magic.
Yeah. I also don't assume a lot and don't expect anything. So maybe that's why.
That helps. Yes, that should definitely help.
I was hoping I was better in person, but I guess not.
Yeah, I'm not going to touch that one.
Good.
Well, I mean, I took you around in my car for a few days, didn't I?
And you did wear one of my wigs, so
see, couldn't have been too bad.
Yeah, it was good. It was a good time.
Those people from the Coast Starlight are still wondering what the hell was on the side of the track when they drove.
Two of us standing beside the rails, full wig gear, with cameras. Oh yeah, we were nuts. All right, guys, in the chat, that's it. That's all I got. That's all everybody's got, because I'm cutting them off. It's too late. I got to work. It's been 2 hours. I don't like these guys.
Out, everybody.
Thanks for inviting us on, Sparky.
It's been a blast. I've had a great time with all you guys.
Matt, appreciate
Thanks, Plumber, for popping in too. So,
see ya.
All right.
And
good night, everybody.
I'll have news next Wednesday about when everything's getting posted. So I'll try and have everyone up by next Wednesday, or at least next Wednesday I'll have an idea of when everyone's going up on the site.
He just won't let me leave.
Bye.
Good night, everybody.
Peace.
Oh, one more thing. No.